Okay, let's start with something kind of wild. What if I told you that just getting 1% better each day could make you almost 38 times better over a year?
Yeah, it sounds almost unbelievable, doesn't it? Like some kind of magic formula.
Exactly. But, well, it's not magic.
Mhm.
Today, we're diving deep into James Clear's Atomic Habits. And this book, it's huge.
Oh, absolutely huge. We're talking over 15 million copies sold, translated into what, 50 plus languages? It's really struck a chord globally.
It really has. And I think it boils down to this core idea, right? That these tiny, tiny habits, they're the things that actually lead to massive results over time. It's all about the compound effect.
Precisely. And it flips the script on how we usually think about goals. You know that quote from Clear: "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems."
Ah, that quote. It hits hard because, let's face it, who hasn't set a big New Year's resolution full of steam?
Only to crash and burn by February? Yeah, we've all been there.
We really have. And Clear's point is, look, the problem isn't usually the goal itself or even you. It's the approach. It's the lack of a system.
Right.
So our mission today, we're going to unpack how these ideas actually work, like in real life. We'll look at examples, some of the data behind it, and importantly, give you some practical stuff you can use, like starting now.
Let's do it.
So first off, why do those big goals, those grand plans, so often just fizzle out?
Well, you mentioned the New Year's resolution thing. There's actually data on that. U.S. News& and World Report found something like 80% of people give up on their resolutions by the second month. 80%.
Wow, 80%, that's sobering. But it really highlights Clear's point, doesn't it?
It really does. It underlines this core idea that the issue isn't the dream, the outcome we want. It's that we focus only on the outcome.
Right, like I want to run a marathon or I want to write a book.
Exactly. We fixate on that finish line, but we don't build the pathway, the system of small, repeatable actions to get there. Clear makes this great distinction. Goals are about the results you want, but habits, effective habits, they're really about the person you want to become.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's less, I want to achieve X, and more, I want to be the kind of person who does X.
That's the core shift. He calls it an identity-based approach.
So instead of just saying, I want to run that marathon, you shift your thinking to, I am a runner. Is that it?
That's exactly it. But I mean, the crucial part is how you actually start believing that, how you embody it.
Yeah, how do you make that real, not just words?
Well, Clear talks about this identity loop. It goes like this: your chosen identity
Yeah.
that shapes your habits. Those habits then produce certain outcomes. And here's the key bit: those outcomes then circle back and reinforce your identity.
Ah, okay. So it's a feedback loop.
Precisely. Think about the difference. Person A says, yeah, I'd like to get fit someday. Person B says, I don't miss workouts. Who do you think is more likely to actually exercise consistently?
Person B, definitely. It sounds like it's just who they are, less about forcing it.
Exactly. They're operating from that identity. The habit flows naturally from who they believe they are. It's not about summoning massive willpower every single time.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And that identity piece, that flow into action, it leads us perfectly into the real practical stuff, doesn't it? The 4 laws of behavior change. This is like the blueprint.
This is the core framework. Yeah. Law number 1, make it obvious.
Make it obvious. So this is about cues, right? Making the trigger for the habit impossible to miss.
Right. It taps into how much our environment shapes our behavior, often more than we realize. Clear argues that, visible cues are often more powerful than just trying to rely on sheer motivation. You need clarity, less thinking, more doing.
So designing your space, basically. Making the good habits easy to see and the bad ones hard to see.
That's a big part of it. And he introduces this really practical technique called habit stacking. Super simple.
Habit stacking. Okay, how does that work?
You just link a new habit you want to form onto one you already do without thinking. So after I pour my morning coffee existing habit, I will meditate for 1 minute new habit. Or after I take off my work shoes existing habit, I will change into my workout clothes new habit.
Ah, okay, so you're using the momentum of something you already do automatically.
Exactly. You're leveraging that existing neural pathway. And it's not just actions, like you said, it's visual cues too.
Like putting your vitamins right next to the coffee machine.
Perfect example. Or laying out your gym clothes the night before, right by your bed. Maybe putting the book you want to read on your pillow. Make the cue unavoidable.
It really drives home that quote you mentioned earlier. You don't need motivation as much as you need clarity. If it's right there, staring you in the face.
It's just easier to do it. Takes the decision-making burden off.
Okay, so that's law 1, make it obvious. What's law 2?
Law 2 is make it attractive.
Attractive. So this is about making you want to do the habit, tapping into desire.
Precisely. It's about linking the habit you want to build with something you genuinely enjoy doing already. This makes the whole process feel less like a chore and more like, well, a treat.
Okay, so how do you do that practically?
Clear calls this temptation bundling.
Yeah.
You pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. The classic example is, I will only watch my favorite Netflix show while I'm exercising on the treadmill need.
Huh. Okay, I see. You're using the reward during the habit, not just after.
Exactly. And the science here is pretty cool. Studies show dopamine, the reward chemical in your brain, actually spikes in anticipation of a reward.
Oh, interesting. So just thinking about watching Netflix while you head to the treadmill makes it more appealing.
That's the idea. The anticipation itself becomes part of the reward, making the habit you're trying to build feel more attractive right from the start. It builds that positive association.
Clever. Okay. Obvious, attractive. What's law 3?
Law 3 is make it easy.
Make it easy. This sounds crucial. Reducing friction, right?
Absolutely. This is about stripping away any difficulty, especially when you're starting out. The goal is to make showing up as effortless as possible. Build momentum first.
This is where the small habits idea really comes in, isn't it? Like super small.
Yes. This is where Clear introduces the brilliant 2-minute rule. Whatever habit you want to build, scale it down so it takes less than 2 minutes to do.
So instead of read every day, it's read 1 page.
Exactly. Or instead of do a 30-minute workout, it's put on my running shoes, or even just do 2 push-ups.
2 push-ups. That sounds almost too easy.
That's the point. The goal isn't the workout itself initially. It's becoming the type of person who shows up. You're mastering the art of showing up. Clear says, standardize before you optimize. Just make it happen consistently, even if it's tiny. You can build on it later.
I love that. Standardize before you optimize. So like for writing, don't aim for 1,000 words. Just aim to open the laptop and write 1 sentence.
Perfect. That simple act reinforces the identity, I am a writer, and builds the foundation. The rest follows.
Okay. Obvious, attractive, easy. That brings us to the final law. Law 4.
Law 4. Make it satisfying.
Satisfying. So this is about the reward, the payoff, making it feel good.
Yes. Our brains are wired to repeat actions that give us immediate pleasure or satisfaction. If a habit feels rewarding, even in a small way right after you do it, you're much more likely to do it again. The human brain loves immediate gratification.
And this is where things like habit trackers come in, right? That little check mark, seeing the streak build.
Absolutely. Visual progress is incredibly satisfying. Seeing that chain of X's on a calendar or watching the progress bar fill up in an app, it provides immediate positive feedback. It proves you're making progress.
It makes it tangible.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the social element either. Telling a friend you hit your goal for the day or posting in an accountability group. That social acknowledgement can be a really powerful immediate reward.
Yeah, that makes sense. It reinforces the behavior.
It all comes back to that basic principle. What gets rewarded gets repeated, what gets punished gets avoided. The more immediate and satisfying the reward, the stronger the habit loop becomes.
Okay, those are the 4 laws. Obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying, simple, but really powerful when you put them together. Let's try and ground these in some everyday examples. How would you apply this to, say, health and fitness, which is a big one for a lot of people?
Right. So first, you anchor it in identity. I am the kind of person who doesn't miss workouts. Then you apply the laws.
Okay, so make it obvious. Lay out your workout clothes the night before.
Perfect. Make it attractive. Maybe you bundle it, listen to your absolute favorite podcast only while you exercise.
Make it easy. Start with the 2-minute rule. Just put on your running shoes. Or do 5 minutes.
Exactly. And make it satisfying. Use a fitness tracker like a Fitbit or Strava. See those stats. Share your run with friends. Get that immediate feedback.
Okay, I see how it layers together. What about something like studying or learning?
Same principles apply. Identity first. I'm a lifelong learner. Or I am a diligent student.
Then make it obvious.
Yeah.
Maybe stack it. After lunch, I'll review 5 flashcards.
Good one. Make it easy. Use the Pomodoro technique study for just 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. Breaks up the task. Feels less overwhelming. The break itself is also...
Yeah, satisfying. Yeah, you get that little reward built in. And attractive. Maybe you study in your favorite comfy chair with a nice cup of tea.
Exactly. You're making the environment and the process itself more appealing.
Okay, one more common area, finance. This can be tough. How do atomic habits help here?
Identity.
Hmm.
I am financially responsible, or I am someone who saves consistently.
Right. Then make it easy is probably the big one here.
Huge. Automated. Set up an automatic transfer to your savings account the day you get paid, even if it's just like 20 bucks a week to start.
So you don't even have to think about it. Frictionless.
Totally frictionless. That's key. Make it attractive. Maybe you visualize what you're saving for that holiday, that down payment,
Right.
connected to something desirable.
And satisfying. Watching that savings balance actually grow in your banking app. Or using a budgeting app with cool charts.
Precisely. That visual progress reinforces the habit. You see the reward accumulating. It really leverages that compound growth idea Clear talks so much about.
Yeah, let's talk about the compounding effect, because the math behind this is honestly pretty mind-blowing, that 1% rule.
It really is startling when you see the numbers. So
Yeah.
if you get just 1% better each day, that's 1.01 multiplied by itself 365 times.
And the result is?
You end up 37.78 times better, almost 38 times, from a tiny 1% daily improvement.
That's incredible. But the flip side is also true, right?
Oh, yeah. If you get 1% worse each day, so 0.99 multiplied by itself 365 times, you basically decay down to almost nothing, like 0.03.
Wow. It just shows how those tiny, almost invisible choices day after day add up to something enormous, whether it's good or bad.
Absolutely. It hammers home Clear's point. Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. It's the small things, done consistently.
Yeah, it's the system, not the single heroic effort.
Exactly. But look, knowing the laws is one thing. It's still easy to mess up, right? There are common pitfalls.
Definitely. What's the biggest one people fall into, according to Clear?
Probably relying too much on motivation. Waiting to feel like doing it.
Ah, the motivation myth. We've all felt that January 1st surge, right? But it never lasts.
It's fickle. Motivation comes and goes. You can't build a reliable system on something so unreliable. You need the structure, the laws, to carry you through when motivation dips.
Which connects to another mistake, right? Focusing only on the outcome.
Yes, obsessing over the marathon, the promotion, the weight loss number, instead of focusing on refining the process, the small daily actions that actually get you there. You fall in love with the result, not the system.
And that leads to giving up when you don't see massive results immediately.
Precisely. Another big one is poor environment design. Not actively shaping your surroundings to make the good habits easy and the bad habits hard.
Like trying to eat healthy with junk food easily visible on the counter.
Exactly. You're setting yourself up for failure. You're fighting your environment instead of making it work for you.
And one more.
Neglecting tracking or reflection. Just kind of hoping for the best without actually monitoring if you're doing the habit or pausing to see what's working and what isn't.
Yeah, if you don't track it, how do you know if you're making progress? How do you get that satisfying feedback loop going?
You don't. You miss the chance to learn, adapt, and, importantly, celebrate those small wins that keep you going.
Okay, so we've covered the laws, the applications, the pitfalls. Let's bring it all together into a practical toolkit. What can people listening right now actually use to make this happen?
Right, let's get concrete. First, think about habit tracking tools. We mentioned them for satisfaction, but they're key.
What kind of tools work well?
There are loads of options. Digital tools like Notion templates are super flexible. Apps like Habitica make it a game, which can be really motivating for some.
Or even simpler ones, right? Like streaks or done, just
Yeah.
basic checklist apps.
Exactly. Or just a pen and paper calendar. The tool itself matters less than the act of tracking. Find what works for you.
Second big thing, accountability.
Having someone else involved.
Yeah, find an accountability partner, someone you check in with, or join a group. Just knowing someone else is aware of your goals adds that layer of social commitment, which can be really powerful. Makes it more satisfying too.
And don't forget those simple visual cues we talked about.
Definitely. Sticky notes on your mirror or computer, phone reminders popping up, physical cues in your environment. Keep the habit top of mind without relying on memory or willpower.
And finally, review.
Yes, set aside maybe 5 or 10 minutes each week. Look at your tracker. What went well? What was hard? Why did you miss a day? Adjust your system based on that feedback. It's not set and forget. It's continuous improvement. That 1% idea again.
Okay, fantastic. So this has been a really deep dive. Now it's over to you listening. It's your turn.
Yeah, the challenge is simple. Pick one habit, just one, and make it small. Like really small, atomic even, and commit to making it stick. We want you to take the Atomic Habit Challenge starting today.
So here's how you do it, step by step. First, choose an identity you want to embody, not a goal, an identity. I am a reader, I am a calm person, I am someone who stays hydrated.
Step 2, stack it. Link your tiny new habit onto something you already do automatically. After I brush my teeth, I will drink a glass of water.
Step 3. Keep it absurdly small. 2-minute rule. Don't aim for perfection, aim for showing up. Read one paragraph, meditate for 60 seconds, put one dish in the dishwasher.
Step 4. Track it. Get that visual proof. Put an X on the calendar, use an app, whatever works. Build that streak.
And finally, step 5. Share it. Seriously, we genuinely love to hear what you choose.
Yeah, DM us. Or tag us on social media with a picture of your habit tracker. Let us know what tiny change you're making.